Hi and welcome. I am Kate, and today we are going to focus on your legs and your hips. We'll move through a short flow of poses that you can do when you're feeling sore, your legs, maybe your low back's feeling a little bit tight. Maybe you are a runner or a cyclist and you need a little extra leg love after a tough workout. So before we get started, you're going to grab a strap. If you don't have a strap, some kind of scarf or a belt or something, and a couple of blocks, and roll out your mat, and I will see you in a moment. Okay, so now that you've got everything ready, we're going to start on our back. So go ahead and lay down. You can slide a blanket under your head if you want. And once you get onto the floor, you have a couple options. You can bend your knees, keep your feet flat on the floor. If you want to go for a slightly deeper hip opener, you can bring the soles of your feet together with those knees bent. And you can always take your fists and kind of jam them up underneath your legs there. Relax your shoulders, and you're just going to close your eyes. We're not going to take too long here, but long enough just to kind of get yourself to drop in. Maybe 2 or 3 longer breaths. Okay, and you're just going to bring those knees together if you've let them fall out to the sides, and draw your right knee into your chest. And just pull it in gently. Draw it a little bit out to the right side, so like it was going to hug down into your right armpit there. And then you're going to flex this right foot, cross it over the top of your left thigh, and you can draw that left knee and thread your right arm through the legs, and you can bring your hands over the knee, or for a slightly more gentle variation, you can come under the knee. You want to use the hands to gently pull the left leg in. And you can use your right elbow, maybe your right hand, to encourage a nice, easy opening through the hip here. Try to relax your shoulders, the back of your neck, and breathe. Keep lengthening this outer right hip away from your armpit. Notice if it starts to kind of creep up, which sometimes it wants to do. Keep encouraging that length there. Take a breath in. And when you exhale, we're going to release the hands out to the sides, but keep the legs just as they are. And we're going to drop everything over to the left. Okay? And then you want to let this left leg relax on the floor or on your pup. And you want to step on your right foot. And you can take your left hand if it's available to you, and you're going to place the left hand on the top of your right foot. And now you just want to start to move this right knee away from you. So you're going to open it away from your chest. And now use your left hand, and you're going to push down into the top of your right foot. And while you're pushing down to the top of your foot, you want to try to start to lift that right foot up off the floor. Now, obviously it's not going to come up because your left hand's doing its job. And just feel how that starts to engage a little bit differently in your outer hip. And now we're going to keep that. Take a breath in. When you exhale, you're just going to twist your torso a little bit more to the right. Keep moving that knee away from you. And then we're going to release that, come back up through center, and stretch the right leg up. You can take your hands behind your thigh. Roll out your ankle for a moment. All right, and then point the toes up toward your ceiling there, and flex your toes back toward your nose, and push your heel up toward the ceiling. And now we're going to bend this leg into a half happy baby. So draw the knee to the outer edge of your rib cage there, and pull down. If you want to, you can really spice it up by stretching that left leg out. And while you stretch the left leg out, you can keep this left thigh bone extending out from the front of the hip. If that's too much, you always bend your knee, that's fine. And then from here, we're going to grab the strap and take it over the ball of your right foot. And you want one strap in each hand. Feel the heads of your arm bones slide down and bonk back into the floor. And stay here for a moment. Press gently up into the ball of your foot. And just let the back of your leg extend and breathe. If you want a little bit more, you can stretch that left leg out, send some energy through your left heel. Press the back of your right thigh toward the front of your mat. And then take both straps into your right hand. Take your left arm out to the side or even to the top of your left hip. And we're just gonna open out, nice and slow. Otherwise you might tip over. And you wanna keep lengthening through this left leg, keep anchoring down and just open and breathe. So this left hip, if it's tight through the hip flexor, it's gonna wanna bop up off the floor, but try to press it down. And when you inhale, we're gonna bring it up through the middle. Take the straps into your left hand and cross over just so your foot stacks over this left hip point. Nothing too crazy here. You're gonna take your thumb, this right thumb, into the hip crease and start to press the outer right hip away from you. So you're gonna just manually roll it open. Inhale here. And when you exhale, you can let this right leg drop all the way over. Now this right hip can come up off the floor and we're twisting to the side. And this right foot can hit the floor. It doesn't have to. I'm gonna keep it a little bit lifted. And now while we're here, you're gonna take your right thumb back into your hip crease and you wanna keep working that outer hip away from you. And then press your left elbow into the floor, lift your chest a little bit, and you're gonna spin your chest to the right as you push through that right heel. That's it. And then inhale, gonna come back up through the middle. And when you exhale, draw that right knee in. And then stretch your right leg out along the floor. And take a second and just notice how different it feels from one side to the other. Then you're gonna bend both knees. Pull your left knee into your chest. You can keep your strap at the ready so we don't have to roll around looking for it. And just draw the left knee in, slide it over to the left gently, and pull it down. And then we're gonna take this left ankle over the top of your right thigh and draw the right knee in. Keep your left foot flexed. And as you draw this right knee in, you can press the left elbow into that left knee or press the left hand into the knee. Just keep working that external rotation. All right, take a breath in. And then when you exhale, we're gonna let this whole leg unit bonk over to the floor. So this right leg relaxes onto the floor and we're gonna stand on the left foot. Then you wanna grab a hold of the top of the left foot with the right hand. And just before we do much else, you wanna start to move that left knee away from you. Okay, and then from here, you're gonna press down through the top of your foot with your right hand and actively press it into the floor. And then start to lift, like you were gonna lift this left foot up. Keep that, and then twist your torso a little bit more to the left. You can let your left arm flop out to the side. And all the while, keep that left knee opening, pressing away from your chest. Okay, then you're gonna inhale, come back up through the middle, keep your right foot on the floor, drag your left leg into a half happy baby. And you can notice here maybe one side's tighter than the other. It's usually how it works. And then take your right leg and stretch it out straight if you want a little more pep in your stretch. Keep lengthening out through the top of this right hip down toward your heel. Okay, and then we're gonna grab the strap, right? Put it over the ball of your foot and slowly start to stretch it up. You got it. One strap in each hand, start to drop the shoulders down so you can really relax through the upper body. Press gently into the ball of your foot. Push up through your heel. And as you draw the foot closer, press the back of your thigh toward the front of your mat. And I suppose I should say, if your leg doesn't straighten, then that's totally fine. right? Not everybody has super flexibility in their hamstrings. So if the pose looks more like this, then that's what it looks like. All right, you're gonna take both straps into the left hand, anchor down through this right side so we keep everything as steady as we can, and then open gently out to the side until you find a place where you wanna rest. And then push firmly through this left heel, stretch through the right foot. And when you inhale, you're gonna come back up through the middle, take the straps over into the right hand, and then cross this left foot over your right hip, but you wanna keep the back of the body even and steady on the floor. And you're gonna take your left thumb and put it into that left hip crease and encourage that external rotation. Inhale. And when you exhale, we're gonna drop this leg all the way over to the right, and maybe it hits the floor, maybe it doesn't, wherever it feels comfortable, and we're gonna keep that hook on the thumb, right? And again, externally rotate that outer hip. We're gonna press into this right elbow that's resting on the floor, lift your chest, and spin your twist a little bit more to the left. And then slowly you're gonna bring the leg back up through the middle. Hug that left knee in and hug the right one up to meet it. And now we're gonna roll to the side and come on into table. And press yourself up and make your way into table. And from here, we're gonna take this right foot, step it up between your thumbs. So we've got the blocks here. So if you feel like you don't have enough space and you need more room, then you can bring your hands to the blocks. You're just gonna sink the weight of the hips down and lift the chest. Inhale. And when you exhale, you can take the blocks back with you and draw the hips back. You wanna make this left hip point stack over your left knee and just work this right leg. So you wanna drag the heel back toward you and at the same time, push it down into the floor. And now we're gonna take the pinky toe edge of this foot and roll it open for a little extra fun. And then put your toes back up toward the ceiling. You're gonna press the ball of your foot toward the floor. Keep your toes lifted for a breath. And on your next exhale, we're gonna take the toes and drop them down. Push everything like we were pushing the gas pedal, maybe the brakes. And then inhale, you're gonna peel the foot back and sink the hips forward. You can take the blocks or the hands to the inside of that right foot, and we're just gonna sink the hips down here. And then we're gonna flex this right foot, keep the right foot flexed, and drop onto the outside edge of your right foot. You don't wanna bonk the outer edge of the ankle down, so keep pressing through the outside edge of that foot. I think I said that already, but I'm gonna say it again. Okay, and then from here, you're gonna shift your hips back, step back, and we'll do the other side. So take that left foot and step it forward. You can use the blocks if you want, or you can keep the fingertips on the floor. Gonna sink the hips down, lift your chest, keep scissoring through the inner thighs. Inhale, and when you exhale, we're gonna go into our half splits, our Ardha Hanuman. Drag this right hip back over the knee and work to straighten this left leg. And the leg doesn't always have to straighten. It doesn't ever have to straighten, right? You can keep it with a slight bend. It's all right. We're not waging war on the hamstrings. We're trying to make peace with them a little bit. Then we're gonna drop the outer edge of that left foot out to the left. And bring the toes back up through the middle. Keep the toes lifting away from the floor, but press the ball of your foot down. Aye. Then you're gonna press all 5 toes down to the floor. Super fun. And then start to rock yourself forward. We're gonna come to the inside of this left foot for lizard. You can open the toes out to the side, sink your hips, and again, you can lift your chest. And you're gonna flex this left foot, come onto the outside edge. So the toes open out at about 45 degrees, and then you can rock yourself a little bit side to side. That's it, and then you're gonna shift your hips back, step back into table, and we're gonna downward facing dog. So spread your fingers, tuck your toes, stretch your hips up, reach them back, maybe pedal out the feet for a second. And we're gonna go for a couple more here. Take your right leg, lift it up, swing it back behind you. And when you exhale, we're gonna sweep it forward. Bring this right knee to the wrist, left toes toward the left wrist, and shimmy that right foot back. We come up right here, so draw the low belly in. You can come up onto your fingertips, or you can use blocks under the hands. Keep the tailbone lengthening, inhale, and when you exhale, gonna lower down. Nice and easy. Relax your shoulders. Maybe look to the right, look to the left. If after a couple of breaths it feels good to start to walk yourself out a little bit. And then walk your elbows back underneath. You're gonna walk the hands back underneath. And roll onto this outer right hip. And we're gonna swing the left leg up and around. So the left foot steps over that right knee. And if both sitting bones don't hit the floor, you can always stretch this right leg out. Right? And then we're gonna take the right elbow, the right forearm, and really hug the knee in. We don't normally do it this way, but we're gonna add a little bit of a variation here. So you're gonna draw the knee gently into your chest. So they can almost maybe connect here. And then lift your chest up and then start to take the twist, using that right arm to keep the knee close into the body. Press down into your left side sitting bone. We're gonna lengthen up one more time and take a bit of a twist here. So with this knee drawn in, the twist is a little bit tighter, but that's all right. And then inhale, we're gonna come back through the center. And when you exhale, take a little twist over to the right side. Okay, stretch both legs out, give them a little shake, and then sweep those puppies to the side. Come onto the table, and then a downward facing dog. Last side, take the left leg, lift it up, and when you exhale, we're gonna swing it forward. Knee to that wrist, toes in, and then start to shimmy that right leg back. And we stay upright here, right? So check back behind, make sure this leg's okay, the foot's not doing this sickly thing, but stretching straight back. Come up onto your fingertips, roll the shoulders back, lift your chest, and draw the low belly in. Keep that tailbone scooping down. Inhale. And when you exhale, we're going to lower down. Keep working a gentle scissor with the inner thighs. You want to keep squeezing in. Maybe after a couple of breaths, the forearms can start to walk out when you feel like maybe you want to lay down a bit more. And then slowly walk your hands back underneath. All right, we're gonna come onto this outer left hip and sweep the right leg up and around. So as always, if you can't get this right sitting bone to root and you don't wanna put a blanket underneath or you don't have a block to sit on, you just prefer it, you can take the left leg and stretch it out straight. Okay, right foot stays rooted down, and we're gonna hook this knee in with the left arm. And we wanna draw the knee in, draw it in, draw it in, draw it in. Gonna see if we can make a little bit of connection here between the inner thigh and your torso, somewhere along the line. And you wanna keep the leg drawing in, lengthen up through the spine, root down through that right sitting bone, and then slowly start to maneuver into your twist. And it's not as free as our traditional Ardha Matsyendrasana. It's a little bit tighter in the twist, but hopefully it helps to get into here a little bit more. Lengthen on your inhale, and one more time we're gonna exhale, bring it out. And then inhale, come back through center. When you exhale, take your little counter twist over to the left. And then bring yourself back through center, stretch both legs out, and give them a little shake. And then reach your fingertips toward your toes, flip. We're gonna roll all the way down to the floor. Draw those knees in, rock a little bit side to side. And then for just a moment before you transition into the rest of your day, Gonna stretch your legs out, let your arms rest by your sides. Take a couple deep, even breaths. And as always, if you'd like to stay here a bit longer, you can stop the video here and come out when you feel ready. Otherwise, you're gonna start to wiggle your fingers, your toes, and draw your knees in one at a time. Come to roll to your right, press into your hands, and come on up. And for just a second, before moving along, before jumping off your mat and into the rest of life, close your eyes, bring your palms to press into Anjali Mudra and bow your head. And thank your body and your breath. And thank yourself for taking this time for you today. And I thank you for showing up and practicing with me. Namaste.